I'm finally going to be opening up about the psychological and domestic abuse, stalking and harassment, and threats of blackmail that Mizkif has done towards me, and some of these issues which are still ongoing. For the entirety of this year, I have attempted to separate myself from him and not talk about him at all, and not talk about this issue, and just not make it a public thing. I always tried my best to keep this to myself, but like I said, I feel like it's gone to the point, which I'll explain later, that I feel like it just has to be done.
So from the clip in the beginning, you can see that Emiru, once she got home from TwitchCon, decided that she was finally going to expose a bunch of information about Mizkif, and it's not really looking that good.
I don't want what happened to me or what has happened to other people because of him to happen to other people. And I don't believe he will ever stop behaving the way he does. But regardless, yeah, like I said, one of the main reasons I decided to do this stream is to come out about all of this, because I can't hold on to it any longer, because it feels wrong to do so. And an honorable mention reason for why I'm doing this is that for a while, he has been indirectly threatening me through my friends and people that I work with. They've informed me that he said that if I ever talked about anything he did, he would try to create a smear campaign against me in retaliation. I was told that he even approached other streamers who were close with us back when we lived together, asking them if they would join with him, and they all refused. At TwitchCon, he approached one of my employees, threatening them and saying if I ever talked about him, he would destroy me. Multiple people have told me that his plan was to claim that I kill animals and that I killed my own rabbits, since I had several of my rabbits pass away over the course of 3 years while I lived with him. I'm sure he's probably listening now, and it's probably going to come as quite a shock to him that this information made its way back to me and that I've known for months. But if you try to threaten me to stay quiet, especially using my poor dead animals, I'm not going to stay quiet. Okay.
So after I saw this part, the first thing that I thought was, I wonder if any of these people that he approached to try to ruin her name if anything came out are gonna come forward and say, yeah, he did actually ask me, I refused to do it. But at the same time, I feel like they may not want to do that, because people are probably gonna drag them like, why are you still friends with him? Why do I still see you around him? Why did you not expose the fact that he did this? That aside, I gotta be honest, the rabbit thing was a little bit weird to me. It's weird that he used the rabbits as a tool to try to do what he did, but it also makes me wonder, is he dark enough to be one of those people that would actually consider doing some shit like that, knowing that in the future he could point back and say, yo, you're dead animals, like, you might have killed them. They died really quickly. The first thing that makes me think is, like, do you know why they died really quickly then? Did you have something to do with it? Because they're obviously not getting an autopsy on all the rabbits, so you could just feed it some shit. Dies after a while. Oh, man, sad story. Nobody is saying he did this. I'm just saying that these are things that crazy people in life have done before. And so when it comes up, I have to question it. But that's not even the worst of it. It goes on to where he started to say he was going to end everything because she had more viewership than him.
Unofficial Miz raid, and I'm like, what does that mean? And then I check my Discord messages, and he's messaging me. He's saying, like, Emmy, I'm gonna kill myself. I'm gonna KMS. I waited so long for this, etc. Basically, he was upset because I had higher viewership than him. That's literally it. I had higher viewership than him. And like I said, this is during an event, so there were drops. Like, everyone knows when there's drops, like, it's not even fucking real, but yeah. He starts messaging me, he's really upset. I tried to tell him, I was like, bro, you should come back and play. Everyone's having fun. Everyone's, like, wondering where you are. But yeah, he ended his stream. And then I'm still live. you know, trying to act like nothing's wrong.
And this is how you know this shit really is dark and that she's not lying about it. It's almost like she still feels the need to explain that her having higher viewership than him didn't matter because it was a drops thing, which obviously people are just gonna come in and sit in your stream so they can get their drops. When she should have just been like, yeah, I had higher viewership, bitch. Like, it is what it is. You know what like, I don't know. I might be reaching a little bit with that, but it's almost like she's still in the mode of, you know, it wasn't that big of a deal because it was drops. You know what I'm saying, guys? Which she's not wrong, but it almost feels like she's downplaying what she's capable of because it made him feel better. But this next clip is probably the darkest of all of them.
And I was crying like crazy because the emotions were just very high because I was dealing with a lot of major shifts in my life as a result of me attempting to start to try to distance myself from him. So yeah, we were just talking and I was crying a lot. He started to try to comfort me by hugging me while I was sitting on the couch and holding me really close to him. And when this was happening, we hadn't talked in quite a while, and I'm usually very uncomfortable with being touched a lot by people that I'm not in a relationship with. But I let him hold me while I was crying. And he started kissing me in my face, and I let him do it. I was still sobbing a lot. And then, suddenly, he tried to climb on top of me and aggressively shoved his hand down my pants. And, I screamed. Yeah. And when I screamed, he jumped off me like a cat, And instead of apologizing or checking if I was okay, he said, I feel weird now. I feel like I did something wrong. I have to go. And he immediately left my house while I was still crying without checking if I was okay or anything. And at the time, I was still making excuses for him, and I was still afraid of causing trouble.
This shit literally blows my mind. I'll never understand this, and this isn't the first time I've ever heard a story like this where a girl is crying and a guy is trying to console her and hold her close and then somehow turns it into something sexual. It's just so weird to me. Like, if a girl is crying in my arms, I have no sexual thoughts in my head. Like, she's crying. She's dealing with something very emotional. She's stressed. She's not in a good place mentally. The last thing I think is, yo, she needs my kisses on her neck and stuff. You know, just she needs some love. Like, what are we talking? Like, who? That's just so odd. Like, I just feel like the mindset behind me feeling like that is the next step is weird to me. And like she said, the whole reason she was crying was part of the stress is her trying to separate from him. So why do you think that she would want you to get on top of her and do anything? It just, I'm not surprised. It's you guys that was trying to tell me in my other videos, yo, Mizkif is actually not that bad. No, listen, I've been saying this shit from the beginning. I said he was weird back in the Ice Poseidon days. There was always something off about him to me. But it's all right. It's y'all homie.
Hey, you know they got your mans. They got your mans on sex assault charges. Yeah, the you be hanging with. The you be hanging with.
And she even went and compiled all of the messages that he was sending her to try to get her to respond and to talk to him again. So if you guys want to read those, you could just pause it on the screen. But it's just your basic, I love you, I'm gonna love bomb you so much and I will change everything and do everything that you want me to do because you're the love of my life. And I've told people before that once you've gotten to a point where the girl or guy who's just decided that I'm done, I'm going to move on, and that switch is flipped, she's not coming back. You can love bomb the shit out of her all you want. It just makes you look weird over time, and it starts to put a lot of pressure on her for absolutely no reason. Just send a message, say, hey, I love you, I'm sorry, da-da-da-da, and then leave it. If she feels some type of way, she'll reach out to you. I know that seems like a really hard concept, but I promise you, that's the best way to go about it. It also brings me back to this tweet that Trainwreck put out back in 2022, which is when I made the video covering the whole situation with him and his friend, and he said, are you going to send Maya and Mitch to railroad and blackmail me like you did those girls to cover up all those essays? You effing scumbag piece of shit. You want to come at me and make shit up, then you better be sure you don't live in a glass house, you insecure pussy. And you gotta respect Trainwrecks for just throwing some shit out there, but I remember seeing this tweet and being like, yo, more shit is about to come out. And I don't feel like too much really did, but he was saying the whole time, I know this shit, but there wasn't like legit proof. I still believed it because I feel like everything pointed to that being the case, and his response to all the stuff that happened with the girl that accused his friend and just the way that he handled it, you could tell that shit just wasn't right. And I understand that not a lot of people saw it, especially if you're right there. Like, he might be a good dude in person, like right to you, he seems like a great guy, right? But but you don't know all the stuff that's happening behind the scenes. And that's what Asmon Gold said, and he actually apologized for ever giving him a platform in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. But, and so it always was bad vibes. I mean, you know, in a way, like, there's a part of me that feels kind of responsible in a way, because, like, I wish I had just known more. If I was able to just know more and be more assertive and, you know, everything. But at the end of the day, I mean, I can't really fucking know everything. And I don't think anybody thought it was as bad as it was. And I apologize for, you know, platforming Miz to the extent that I did. It was a mistake. I didn't know it at the time, but it was a mistake.
And honestly, I don't blame Asmon. I understand why he feels that way, but I've always been that person that I don't like when people try to blame the friends of people and say, yo, you must have known because you're there. Now, don't get me wrong. There are times where the friend does know. Like, if you're there when they're treating the woman or doing whatever it is they're doing and you're around it and you let that shit go and we can see that you were there, that's a whole other story. But there's a lot of times where friends are not in the know about any of the shit going on because they will put on the front in front of the friends and be the greatest boyfriend and the greatest husband and the greatest friend and the greatest person. But then as soon as they get away from them and they're on their own or they're alone, that's when they turn the shit up. And a lot of times that's what happens. So I don't blame Asmon for this necessarily. I think in hindsight, it obviously seems very obvious, but you don't really know who somebody is until you know who somebody is, if that makes any sense at all. But I appreciate you guys. Let me know what you guys thought down below. It's a late video, but I wanted to make sure we got this out, and I will catch you in the next one, homies.